Hey guys, welcome back to the 30th Man. Today we're going to talk about workplace violence. So let's hear some statistics. In this one particular job, you're 3 times more likely to be involved in a fatal assault. You're also 30 times more likely to be assaulted than the average citizen. In that same job, in a study in 2012, the National Association of EMTs said that 52% of people had said they'd been assaulted. They also said that that number is probably low. It may be only half the people report assaults that take place in the workplace due to their complaints not being taken seriously or the culture that it's just part of the job. So if you haven't picked up on it yet, this job is being an EMT or a paramedic in the U.S. today. So this trend of violence has been going on for decades, nothing new. We don't really see an upward trend. We do see, obviously there's more media coverage, and it is starting to become prevalent. We see magazines, there's articles, people talking about it. There's also a couple of companies out there trying to address this issue, or starting to teach self-defense tactics and things that are particularly related just to EMS. So the question we have is why. That's usually the first question that comes up, is why is this going on? The problem is that's an extremely complicated question, and it also obviously has an extremely complicated answer. We have a lot of issues ranging from legal issues to political issues to issues about money and the size of systems, whether it's in an urban setting or a rural setting. Should we actually be transporting these patients? Are they actually patients? There's a lot of issues, and it's really a talk that's entirely to itself, but it's really not what matters. The question of why is going to be the long-term solution. Eventually we're going to need leaders and organizations all across the country to address why this is happening and make changes. But as we know, in the United States, these changes take years, and most likely they're never going to happen. So we're left sitting here, and we can't really even answer the why, and we sure can't come up with one definitive answer on how to fix it. And even if we could, we may not have the political power, we may not have the support, we may not have the money to actually make that fix happen. So if you don't know this, I work as a paramedic. Worked a long time in the private industry. I currently am a firefighter paramedic. So we still have to go out every day. We still have to treat our patients. This problem doesn't just lie with the EMTs and paramedics and firefighters in the field. It also extends to the hospital. The nurses and doctors and ER techs that work in the emergency room are assaulted at a rate that's nearly as high as ours. So what do we do about it? How do we fix this problem? Well, the problem is that in the United States, people, especially in modern day, we're always looking to somebody else to fix our problems. This problem came very close to home for me approximately a year ago. I was involved in an assault situation. I've been assaulted dozens, if not dozens upon dozens of times in my career. I've had things range from intoxicated patients to psych patients to just generally irritable people. I've had people threaten to kill me. I've been spit on, bitten, punched, everything else that any other medical professional has dealt with as well. But this is different. So I responded to a car wreck. I approached a man and tried to help him. The problem was that the man had been using PCP all day, and he had a loaded pistol and was soon going to shoot a bystander that was on the scene. I just happened to open the door. The man put the gun on my chest, and I was suddenly faced with a life or death situation. So I got extremely lucky that day. The biggest thing that I looked into was literally how old I am. I'm 34 years old, just had a birthday a few days ago. So if you can count back to when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, September 11th happened, right? So after September 11th, I left college and I became a United States Marine. I was privileged enough to go overseas and serve my country. I did multiple deployments to Iraq. I came back afterwards with a whole lot of knowledge. One thing that I had knowledge in was weapons disarming. I had knowledge in martial arts. I was exposed to a lot of different martial arts while I was in the Marine Corps. Before that, and I continued that afterwards, I spent a good portion of my life, probably 25 years, doing wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, sambo, boxing, Muay Thai, all types of different things. So that left me with a pretty good set of skills, and luckily I was able to use those skills that day, and I could disarm the man. So no one was hurt that day, no bystanders were injured, I wasn't injured. Afterwards, what I learned from that situation was that we had a really big issue in the system that I was in. Our procedures for dealing with this were probably not as tight as it needed to be. I also realized that despite the fact that I'd been telling people for years that they needed to train for situations like that, most people weren't listening. There's been others that were trying to get body armor approved for us to wear in the field. Whether that will help or not is up for discussion. I will tell you that particular day it would probably not have helped me at all. The only thing that helped me that day was training. So I shared that with you to show you that luckily I was there that day. Could have been one of my partners. In my career I've worked mostly with females. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. They're very skilled clinicians, and majority of them can do everything I can do, and most of them could probably do more. But you throw a 110-pound female against this guy, chances are she's not making it out there alive. The reality is you throw 90% of other paramedics who work at that service, male, female, big, small, tall, or little, none of them are making it out of there alive. So we lucked out that day. The good that came from this was that it opened a lot of people's eyes to what was going on. Things like this had happened. I wasn't the only one that this had happened to. We had victims of assaults for decades and decades all across the country, and nobody seemed to be able to tackle this issue. So afterwards, I was approached by a lot of people, and I've been a long-time instructor in jiu-jitsu, and I had a mind for self-defense for a lot of years. And one thing that this situation did was it really showed me how big of a need there was for training, especially training for somebody from the inside that knew what was going on, and that also was skilled and could show people how to deal with this stuff. So I started teaching self-defense seminars after that. I had done them for a long time, but I really started focusing on them, and I've been waiting for a long time to bring this seminar out. So I just wrote the curriculum for a seminar called Surviving Violence for EMS. It's wrote just for EMS, and it deals with the particular situations that we find ourselves in. There's other programs that are out there. There's one big established program that I'm not going to name. If I thought that was the best program, I would recommend it to you. I'm not going to do that because I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that they're teaching on there. And in my particular experience, I don't think it's the best thing that's out there. So I'm attempting to share the knowledge that I have with you guys. So that seminar is coming out real soon. So you're asking me, so why would I come to your seminar? Why is it my responsibility? This is the reality, guys. No one is going to take care of you. You're going to have to start taking care of yourself. The only way that you can protect yourself on the street is if you put a lot of training. It's no different than being a clinician. You went to school and you learned X amount of stuff. When you got out, you put that to use. You probably learned, like I did, that there's a whole lot of stuff that you didn't know. So you spent the time reading, learning, asking other people, and you spent a lot of time mastering your skills. It's no different for this. We've got to get better at situational awareness. We've got to get better at de-escalating situations. We've got to get better at planning with our partners. We've got to learn to look out for the stuff that's happening, identify these people that are going to attack us, and we've got to break this idea that it's part of the job. We have to get rid of it. We have to start being leaders in our services, and the leaders that we need to fix this problem are me and you. They're the healthcare providers that are dealing with this right now. They're not sitting in an office somewhere making policy. In private services, most of the people that are sitting in these offices have never even done the job you've done anyway. We have some great leaders out there, and I'm hoping that every one of those continues to fight this. But we cannot count on other people to fix this problem. We need to do it ourselves. So first and foremost, you need to take your own safety into your own hands. You need to start training. You need to start learning the skills that you need as far as physical skills and mental skills. Protect yourself while you're out there. We all have families. We all want to go home safe to them. You can sit back and say, well, I'm just not going to go into these scenes that are safe. anybody who's actually worked in the field that tells me that, I know you're lying, because safe scenes do not exist. They never exist. Every scene's dynamic. Every person's dynamic. We're asked to do a wide range of things these days. Everybody who's watching this knows that we're not dealing with just medical problems. We're dealing with psych problems, and we're dealing with just public service problems. We are asked to do a very wide range of things as paramedics in modern systems, and we need to be prepared to deal with those. I'm telling you guys, I was extremely grateful that I had had the experiences I had in my life that allowed me to be able to make it through that situation and come home to my family that day. It also probably saved my partner from getting injured, and it definitely saved a bystander from losing his life. Okay? Luckily, the police department arrived soon afterwards, and they charged this guy. And the court system continued those charges, and he's now spending time in prison. So we have to take this problem upon ourselves. We have to start addressing it. We have to start building leaders that are going to go forth and they're going to start changing the systems, and we can solve this problem. We're not going to solve this problem with a federal law. We're not going to solve this problem with another law that's because you assaulted me, it's now a felony because I'm a public servant. We already have those laws. We've had them for a while, and the assaults are not changing. We have to deal with this problem by training yourself and being better prepared to how you go on the streets. So guys, that's my spiel. It's a big thing for me. It's very important, I think, that we get this information out there. So I'm asking you guys, I am offering the knowledge. Please seek it out. Please come to my seminars. Pay attention close. We have a whole lot more videos. We're going to discuss a whole lot of stuff. I'm also going to tell you guys how most of you can go to these seminars for basically free. So thanks for watching today. If you guys are out there on the streets taking care of people, keep saving lives and be safe. Talk to you guys later.